welcome back to the channel Jane Reads. My name is Jeanette, and this is the start of another weekly video that I am calling Reading, Rambling, and Real Life. Today is Monday, November the 17th, and I have just gotten home from work, and I don't really have plans for this week other than it is a normal work week with reading, and I'm going to do some editing and, real life, food, that kind of thing. So what am I reading? I am reading The Cryptographer's Dilemma by Johnnie Alexander. This is book one of the Heroines of World War II series. This is a companion series, so they do not need to be read in order because none of the characters connect or anything. They're just all set around World War II. So in this one, we are following Eloise, who is a cryptographer who has been recruited by the FBI to read some letters and figure out if they are hiding a coded message. And she is working with Philip, who is an FBI agent who does not want to be working in Washington. He would like to be overseas, but due to some medical disabilities, he cannot be overseas. He has been refused, but his medical disabilities are not obvious, so he feels like people look at him and be like, why aren't you? And he doesn't feel like they should hold him back either. And so these two are working together to try to figure out the coded message in these letters, or do these letters even hold a coded message? And right now, I'm really enjoying watching them interact and follow through. And so we will see what happens. I am currently almost 50% the way through. I'm just starting chapter 25, page 131. It's approximately 250-ish pages. So we'll see what happens. That is my update for now. I will let you know once I get further, or maybe once I'm finished. We'll see. Bye. Supper is Yorkshire pudding, corn, and pot roast, so pork and potatoes. Yummy. It is Tuesday evening and I have some reading updates for you. I finished The Cryptographer's Dilemma by Johnnie Alexander, and I really enjoyed this book until the end. There's just a little bit, not even the last chapter, the chapter before the last chapter, or maybe it is the last chapter, where it kind of wraps everything up and it was like, wait, what? It is the last chapter. It is the last chapter. And I'm like, but how did they figure out that that person was involved? Like, we knew as the reader side, but how did they figure it out? Yeah. So it was going to be a 5-star read, but because of that, I've knocked it down to a 4-star. I really enjoyed following Eloise and Philip and seeing the relationship bloom and how they fought their feelings to do their job. And Eloise also had to fight feelings that was happening not with Philip, with somebody else, like an anger feeling, to be able to move forward and do what needed to be done. And I really enjoyed that aspect of it. And I liked how it ended for Eloise and Philip. I just wish there would be a little bit more about how did we get from here to here. Because the pivotal moment when somebody is rescued happens. But then all of a sudden, there's a little brief summary of what happens, and now we're here. And it's like, but how did they figure out that person was involved? I want to know. So yeah, that's my thoughts on this one. So then today, my audiobook that I started was The Women of Oak Ridge by Michelle Shocklee. This is the book that won the poll for my November subscriber pick. It barely won. The Librarian of Boone's Hollow was at 44%, and this one was at 46% of the vote. And what I mean, The Canyon of Deceit wasn't even in the running. So it was like 20 some, right? 44, 46. Yeah, it was like 20. So Yeah. I am so excited to be reading this one right now because when we were in Tennessee, we went to Oak Ridge. I bought this book in Oak Ridge. And we went to the K25 Museum. And I'm only 3 chapters into it. No, I'm 3 chapters. A prologue and chapter 1 and chapter 2. And already they're talking about Maybelle, who has just started work at K25, and they talk about her arriving on site and about how the land was so muddy she was concerned that her shoes would get wrecked. And when we were at the museum, when we were at the scale of it, around the scale was different facts about the K25 at that time in the building. And one of them was that a lot of ladies would take off their shoes and walk barefoot in the mud because they didn't want their shoes wrecked. So when I read that in here, it was like, yeah, I just learned about that. Like, that was really fun. So we are following Maybelle, who has just got a job at the K25 and learning about the secrecy that around her job, she can't talk to anybody. So it is set in 1944. And then we are following her niece, Laurel, who from 1979, who has come to spend the summer with her in hopes that she can write her dissertation on Oak Ridge, the secret city, and everything that happened back during World War II. But will Maybelle talk about that time? Because she's been trained. It's ingrained in her about the secrecy. So what's going to happen? As I said, I'm only starting chapter 3, so I'm very early in this book. But this is going to be my physical read and my audiobook. So I'm hoping to get through it this week. However, I have been working this evening on editing some of the vacation vlogs. And because I was working on this one, like I'm reading this one, I wanted to work on the vlog for the K25 Museum, which is the same day we went to the Titanic Museum in Pigeon Forge. So we went to the Titanic Museum and then drove from Pigeon Forge to Oak Ridge and then did the K25 Museum. So because of this, I thought I'm going to work on that video. So I now have all the voiceover done and the music that I wanted to add over because I can't use the music from the museum itself. So I have got day 6 completely done now. I'm very, very happy about that. I'm still undecided on how exactly I'm putting these videos together, but I am getting that much closer, another step closer. Because not every day it requires voiceover either. Some days I did a lot better at filming or talking during the filming. So yeah, I'm so excited. But it is 9 o'clock now, and I want to read at least a little bit. I'm at page 26. I'd like to make it to page 100 tonight. I don't know if I will, because I also want to work on editing. I also want to film a video. Gosh, my list of wants is really high tonight at 9 o'clock at night. So we will see. But that is my update for now. Oh, and I need to update my reading journal with this. And the funny thing, I need to fix my reading journal. I'm just going to grab it. Oh, it's got my notes from my video. So this book, where's that page? I guess I don't have to fix my reading journal tonight. I just need to update it tonight. But this book is my book 140 that I have read this year, which means I'm going to be coloring in this last book here. I have no more room on this page. And it also means I have no more room on this page because 140 was my last one. What am I going to do? I can't stop logging books. That's not happening. So, oh, actually, It's also the last spot on my audiobook tracker page because this one was also audio and physical read. I switched between the two, and this one is going to be the same. So I need more audio spots. So I need to print some more pages for my journal. Yeah, I need to do that. I think everything else I'm okay because I have enough space for everything else, but yeah. So I'm going to work on updating my journal to get this book logged. Then I think, I don't know, I want to read, but I also want to get another day fully done in editing first. I also said I wanted to film. I don't know what I'm going to do. Okay, I'm going to update my reading journal first, and then I'll let you know tomorrow. So it is Wednesday morning and I'm at work and I am listening to the Women of Oak Ridge while I put together labels on these Samaritan shoe boxes. And I just got to the part where Laurel, I lost her name for a minute, is talking to somebody and she admits, I don't understand the science behind what exactly they were doing at K25. Yeah, me too, Laurel. When I was reading it all, or when we were at the museum and stuff, I'm reading it, I'm like, I don't really know what this means by taking a part of uranium to use this for something. That's all above me, all above my head. So that just really made me laugh. Okay, back to work. Okay, fun moment. It is Wednesday evening and I am working on editing some of our vacation vlogs. And I am at the deer farm and trying to figure out what music to add. So then I was on the YouTube music library trying to find what is allowed. And I came across this one. It's Old MacDonald Had a Farm, and I'm just bopping away to it. And then I found Farmer in the Dell, and I'm like, but that kind of would take away from the video because you'd just be listening to the music. I'm just listening to the music. Oh, I'm having fun, but I'm also distracted. It is Thursday after work and just documenting. I'm going for a haircut today and it's at that stage, especially my bangs. I don't like them when they're this long because they just feel like they're in my eyes with my glasses. But okay, that's all the update for today. Well, not for today, for right now. All freshly cleaned up. Okay, I thought I would fill you in on my thoughts of the Women of Oak Ridge because I am now over halfway. I'm like 75%. Just starting chapter 25, page 260. How many pages is it? It is 346 pages. So that's not even. That's the author's note. 339 pages. So I have 80 pages left to read, and I am absolutely loving this book. And just the fact that we went to the K25 museum while we were in Oak Ridge, that is really bringing this book alive for me because I can picture kind of what they're talking about and May riding her bike around the factory because the factory was so huge. Yeah, so cool. So we are following May from the 1944 timeline who worked at Oak Ridge at the K25 plant and kind of her experiences through that. Something has just happened that kind of has changed her outlook or her situation, and friends around her have noticed and told her niece that she was different. Like she was something, and then her personality seemed to change later, but they didn't know why. Well, we have found out we're in that process of knowing what happened and how did that affect her going forward. Then in the 1979 timeline, we have Laurel, who's looking into the history of Oak Ridge and how did keeping these secrets and then finding out that they helped with the bomb that hit Japan and so many innocent people were killed. How did that affect them as being part of it? And or keeping the secret for so long? Like, how has it affected their personality? So we're following her kind of seeking into it and she knows that her Aunt May doesn't really want to talk about this period of time and wonders why. Like, it's 30 years ago. Why will she not talk about it yet? Then Laurel has met someone and they are working together to try to figure out a mystery that has come out. And I'm just loving it. I am so invested in both of these female characters and I want to know the mystery. I want to know what happened. And yeah, I'm loving it, devouring it. And I will probably finish it tonight because I have 80 pages left. But I am going to work on some more editing tonight because I want to get that done. So that is the plan. But I did print another sheet for my reading journal. And I really debated. So kind of half for books and then some for audiobook because my audiobook was full as well. I set my printer to print double-sided. Yeah, that worked well. Printers. I really was like, how many books do I do? Like, how many lines do I make room for? What am I going to read in the month of December? And I still have a week and a half of November. How many books am I going to read before the end of the year? So I just printed a full page of 28 books. I don't expect to read 28 more books. I'm already at 140. This is 141. But I've been averaging 15 books a month. So 15 in December, say, and some of those December books that I hope to read are a little bit shorter, so I probably will read more than 15, but the same page count, maybe? I don't know, we'll see. I also have time off in December, so more time to read if I get all my editing done. And then, as I said, I still have a week and a half, and I expect to finish at least 3 books before the end of the month, because I've got this one, and then I've still got 2 more on my TBR. So we'll see, and maybe even another one. I'm supposed to buddy read a book with Amanda next week, so hopefully, I'm pretty sure that'll go ahead. But if I do, that means I have 4 books in November to record, including this one. So that's why I'm like, I'll just print the full sheet and we'll see what happens. And then we'll find out how full my reading journal gets. And then I need to start working on next year's reading journal and figure out what do I want to include from this year and bring over, and what do I not want to include. And I have some thoughts about it. I've been very bad at printing book covers. Started out great at the beginning of the year, and then, well, and so we'll see. I really like looking back at the book covers though, and kind of, it's a refresher of, oh yeah, that book. So I don't know. I'm debating about leaving space for that or not. We'll see. Okay, so I'm actually watching a reading journal video right now for somebody setting up their 2026. So get inspiration. And then I'm going to work on reading an M from, what's her channel name? Wow, I've just blanked out. I've just completely blanked. Wow, that's horrible. I know I wrote it down. M's Books Are Everywhere is having reading sprints tonight while reading, knitting, kind of craft-y sprints. So I'm going to join in that and work on reading. And I finished a book during her sprints last week. Can I finish a book during her sprints this week? We'll find out. Well, it is Friday evening and it is the weekend. And we still don't have snow. The snow has stayed away this week. So I thought I'd set up the tripod this way so I could show you this shirt. I had this shirt for leggings. Like, it was pretty long, but I never wear leggings, and so I always avoided wearing this shirt. I like it. I just didn't like all the excess fabric. So it was a tunic length. I asked my mom to shorten it for me, and she did that, and it's like the perfect length now. So now I can wear it. Okay. And I'm filming here because we have our dryer going, we have our dishwasher going, and I'm like, it's noisy everywhere in this house. I could have filmed in the basement in front of my bookshelves like I normally do, but I didn't want to because I always do it there. So last night during M's sprints, I stayed for the last sprint so that I don't know if it was the last sprint because I stayed for one more sprint than I normally would have because I wanted to finish The Women of Oak Ridge, and I only had like 40 pages. And then I kept reading while her and Lucy were talking because I had 6 pages left when the sprint ended. And then I went to bed because it was almost midnight. I don't know how long they kept on together after that, but I went to bed. But I finished The Women of Oak Ridge, and I love this book. It was just, the story was so good. I love the characters and developing the family relationship between the niece and the aunt, and between the aunt and the niece's father, like brother, sister. Just the loving care for the family. And I felt so much for May as we got her story from the 1944. She's the aunt. And what she went through and how she was forced into something by somebody. And she felt it was so wrong. But she couldn't say anything because she was being forced and coerced into this and blackmailed, basically. And I just felt for her so much. And the way that Laurel discovered the story and was really taking May's feelings into account and didn't want to pressure her. And then she meets somebody who helps her piece together things. I loved it. There is romance that happens, but it is very subtle. You have I think maybe 2-3 kisses at the very, very end, the last chapter and the epilogue. There's very little, and even when they do, it's the mention of their lips met, and then that was it. And I love the way this was handled. And I think I enjoyed it more than I think I would have. I still would have enjoyed it, but because I recently went to the K25 Museum, I could easily picture May when she was talking about going to work and working the factory and taking the bike around. And because I'd seen pictures of it and the scale of the building and stuff, it just came alive for me. I highly recommend this book. I just loved it. Okay, so I finished this book. So then what did I start today? So for my audiobook, which I just realized I didn't grab the physical book because I had it, but I started Rilla of Ingleside by Ellen Montgomery. And I think I'm maybe 3 chapters into it, not very far at all. We are following Rilla, who is the youngest Blythe child. And I think it is just the start of World War II. I think that's kind of the next couple scenes that's going to happen. Rilla is almost 15. She's talking about turning 15 and what is next for her and what she wants to do and what is kind of expected of her. And so we'll see. But as I said, I'm very, very early into it right now. Then for my physical reading, I am starting the last book that's on my TBR. So I'm starting a Christmas read, which I said I was going to put off till the end of the month, but now it's the last book on my TBR. So that is Hazardous Holiday by Liz Johnson. This is in the Men of Valor series. I want to say, where's my about the book? Number 5, maybe? Yes, this is book 5 of a 6-book series. I have read books 1 to 4 quite a while ago. I don't know how long ago. And so this is a love-inspired suspense book. So it's only 220-ish pages. But I opened it onto my Kindle because I haven't used my Kindle for a little while, so I didn't know like what my battery was at. So pulled it up. My battery's at 69, so I'm good for a while. And so the prologue, the very first line of the prologue. Oh, I just realized I wanted to read you a quote from this. But let's go. The very first line of the prologue is, "I guess we better get married then." Okay. What? What? So I guess I'll find out. I'll tell you a little bit more once I kind of get into the book. I have not read the back summary of this book because I want to go in blind, but I don't remember much of books 1 to 4. As I said, it was a number of years ago I read them. So we'll see. Will I be missing information or not? Okay, so for the Women of Oak Ridge, the line I wanted to share with you is near the end, and it says, "Life is too short to be set on one certain idea and miss all the wonderful surprises that come along." So he's talking about, if I hadn't done this, I would have never met so-and-so and done this and this and this, if I stayed with the path that I was on. So yeah, life is too short to be set on one certain idea and miss all the wonderful surprises that come along. So, yeah. Okay, so that is this book. Now I'm going to start reading Hazardous Holiday, and I don't know what else. I do know Andrew's gone off grocery shopping right now because I'm going to work on some editing of the vacation blogs. Are you tired of me talking about them? I'm tired of editing them. But I am now getting closer, and there are parts that I want Andrew's input on, an opinion about. So I'm going to work on a day while he's gone, and then he's going to come back and watch some of them. So hopefully soon. Hopefully soon. So we will see. Well, it is Saturday morning and we are heading out of town to go visit with my mom for the afternoon. And I read a bit in Hazardous Holiday last night, and this is a marriage and convenience story. I had no idea. I'm eating a mint. Yeah, it's a marriage and convenience story, and basically to help the mom's son, Cody. What is the mom's name? Christy. And so they agree to get married, but he is a SEAL and he's been off on assignment for the last year. So basically they're married so that she can have the benefits for her son who has a heart condition. And now he has returned from his mission and finds out that she is being threatened recently. And they've had a couple close calls so far. Is this going to bring them together? I'll find out. I'm only a few chapters in. I think I'm 18%, I think is what it said last night. So we will see. So I'm going to read this as we drive. Welcome to Sunday. I was absolutely horrible at vlogging yesterday, but we went out of town and visited my mom, gave her her birthday present because it was her birthday the week before, but she was in Toronto with my brother and family. And so then we walked around an antique mall and just 3 floors of stuff. And we had fun kind of reminiscing about some things. It's like, oh yeah, I remember growing up with that. Or my mom's like, I remember having that when I was a kid. And then we saw some Coke stuff and it was like, hey, I have that at home. How much are they selling it for? So that was kind of fun. Then we came home and I watched some hockey and I read. I finished Hazardous Holiday, I'm like, what was it called? By Liz Johnson, which is book 5 of the Men of Valor series. Now, I don't think you have to read this series in order. I mean, I've read the first 4 books up to this point, but they didn't weren't fresh in my mind at all. I do know it's following members of a SEAL team, and there are characters mentioned that I am pretty sure would have been the main characters in the earlier books. And then there is a character that is prominent in this book as a single guy. And I know that he is the main character in book 6. So that's why I'm assuming that the previous books followed kind of the couples that are mentioned now. But I didn't feel lost because I didn't remember who they were. I did read in the author's note that the main character, Zach, that we are following in this book was mentioned in book 1. So, I mean, he is mentioned, but yeah. So this was a marriage and convenience story. So a marriage in name only, to help the mom, Christy, with her son, Cody, with the health challenges that he is going through. So basically, she can take advantage of Zach's health plan to help them and get him closer to doctors that are needed, because they were kind of in an area that didn't have a lot of good doctors around. And he was going off on a mission. So basically, she could stay in his house, be there, and be supported by Zach, but didn't have to deal with Zach on a day-to-day basis. So that's the premise of it. Then we have, he has just returned from that mission, and we're just leading up to Christmas. I think it's about a month before Christmas. And Christy and Cody have been threatened, or possibly being threatened. She has noticed some weird things happening, but they don't know exactly. Well, as the story carries on, more stuff happens. There are numerous threats, like physical threats that happen. We're talking car chase, like possible car accident, bombs being placed, shooting that happens, like a number of threats. But why? Who is threatening them, and why? As we dig more into the story, that becomes revealed. And wow, the villainous tendencies of why somebody's doing that, like depravity of mankind. Yeah. So I really enjoyed the story and following it. I was really cheering for these characters because, like, Zach's like, you know, like, Zach has feelings for Christy, but doesn't feel like that Christy will ever see him the way that he wants her to see him. And I was kind of frustrated with Zach for that, because it was like, stop having such a negative opinion. Like, just be honest with her. Thankfully, Christy takes a step and is honest with him, and it works out. And I like that it works out. So I'm giving this book 4 stars. I was fully invested in it and these characters. It was a quick read. It is a love-inspired suspense book, so it is only 224-ish pages. And so it is a quick read. I think some things could have been developed a little bit more, but there is a ton of action in it for sure. I do plan on reading book 6 soon-ish. I don't know. So we'll see. So now that I've finished that book, I'm going to read another book on my Kindle. I am going to be buddy reading Hearts Under Fire by Corey Lynn, I think is her name. About this book. Yes. Corey Lynn. So it says, when Laura, a heartbroken antique expert, stumbles across an old steamer trunk, she decides it is the perfect restoration project to distract her from her recent loss. She soon discovers the trunk has a mystery of its own, a journal dating back to 1941. Laura finds herself caught up in a heroic love story between Ava and her high school sweetheart, Dean. Oh, this is so cool. So my announcement video for Epistolary January just went out yesterday, Saturday, the 22nd. So if you haven't seen it, I will link it below. And where we are encouraging people to read epistolary stories. And this one has a journal in it. I did not realize that. So it sounds like it's going to be a dual timeline with Laura coming across the journal from 1941, and then following the love story between two people. Oh, I'm excited. I had not read the full review of it. Oh, that's so exciting. So I'm going to be buddy reading this with Amanda from Book Lover Amanda. And then I'm continuing my audiobook of Rilla of Ingleside. And I'm only 3 chapters into that. Here's the book. I don't know exactly how far because my audiobook doesn't tell me until I listen to it, but doesn't tell me where I stopped. So we'll see. This is book 8 of the Anne of Green Gables series. So this will complete the series for the year. Yeah, that's it. So this afternoon we are headed off to a play that one of Andrew's co-workers is in. It is a Peter Pan kind of, what did they call it? Panomanic? I don't remember. I'll have to look at the tickets later to see. But, well, hopefully that'll be interesting. Hopefully that'll be fun. We'll see. Well, it is Sunday evening, and I'm so glad I knew the play I was going to. So it was a panto of Robin Hood, not Peter Pan. Why did I think it was Peter Pan? I have no idea. So yeah, so it was a panto of Robin Hood and the Babes in the Woods, I think is what the program said. Something about the babes. Anyways, basically a panto is where it requires an audience interaction. So the actors on stage would kind of make gestures for the audience to react to certain parts. So there were really some funny moments, and there was a lot of songs added in. So I really liked that as well. There was a few songs that I recognized, and it was so funny because one of the songs was 9 to 5 by Dolly Parton. And because I've been working on editing our Tennessee vlogs where we went to Dollywood, I've listened to that song a few times because it comes up as we're walking around Dollywood. I was just like, wow. Yeah, so when we got home from the play, we had supper, and then I had Andrew sit down and work on some of the editing with me to get his input. And so yeah, now I know I have a pretty good idea of how I'm going to post them and kind of what I need to add, like what future Jeanette needs to add to past Jeanette to make the videos complete. So I've been working on that. Then I've been working on editing this weekly vlog, which is where I realized I didn't know what play I was going to see. So I'm going to end the vlog here. So let's just do a quick wrap up of the week. I started the week reading The Cryptographer's Dilemma by Johnnie Alexander. I gave this 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I just didn't like the way it ended. But I will be continuing to read this series, even though this is a companion series and we won't see these characters again. Then I continued in World War II fiction and read The Women of Oakridge by Michelle Shocklee. This is actually a dual timeline. 1944 with May working at the K-25 plant in Oakridge, and then 1979 with her niece Laurel coming to town to learn about the history of the K-25 and the whole secret project, the Manhattan Project. So yeah, I gave this one 5 stars. I just absolutely adored it. I loved both characters. I loved them seeking into the mystery and trying to figure out what happened in the past. And I also liked getting to know May and kind of the situation she was in, and I felt for her. I highly recommend this book. Then I read Hazardous Holiday by Liz Johnson, which is book 5 of the Men of Valor series. And it is a marriage convenience story. I really enjoyed it. It has so much action and danger elements throughout it, but then you also feel for the characters because especially Christy as the mom with the sick child is going through the emotions. I gave this one 4 stars because, again, the ending was kind of rushed a little bit. And I think it needed a little bit more development to how did we get from here to here. That's all. I did enjoy it. Then I started Rilla of Ingleside by Alan Montgomery. This will be my audiobook for the week going forward because I'm not very far into it. I just started on Friday. And yeah, so really, I've had a really good reading week because I had 2 4-star books, so this one and my Kindle book, and then a 5-star book. Really good reading week. So I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video and spend another week with me. I hope you have a great day. Bye.